Siyata Dishmaya, we're going to continue in the gates of the Baal Shem Tov. We're in the 5th chapter talking about the importance of Ahavat Israel. We have something here from the Sefer HaSichot. It says like this: Baal Shem Tov Nishmato Eden. Baal Shem Tov would say that anything a person sees or hears, this is a hint, a message, and instructions from heaven, and how you're meant to connect to Hashem. But we have to understand what is it that we're seeing and what is it that we're hearing. And God forbid to make the mistake in understanding what you saw and what you heard. It's not just that everything you saw and you heard at face value is the message. Everything you see and you hear, there is a message and instruction from the heavens, but you have to understand, what is it that I even saw? What is it that I even heard? We have a verse that tells us, Nishmat Adam Tilamedenu. The soul of man will teach us. Nishmat Adam Tilamedenu, the idea is that inside of a person, there's Sechel Ma'or, there's a lit intellect. And there comes down these different svarot, these different logical conclusions that I could make in life. They come and they fall into this place in my brain. What could be the intention in my Avodat Hashem from what I saw and what I heard? Right? I see something, for example, I see a bus go through a red light. Doesn't happen usually. I saw it, I experienced it. What was the message? So something comes down inside of you and you try to make all these different calculations. What is it meant to be now that I'm meant to do in my Avodat Hashem? And this is how a person understands the messages that are coming down from heaven. Baal Shem Tov taught us the most clear way to understand what your neshama, what your mind is, how your mind is going to interpret the things that are going on and what the message is from heaven that you need to follow. It's like this. There's 3 things. If you want to write them down, be prepared. Get a pen and a paper. Write down these 3 things in order to understand what are the messages of life that are coming to me. 1, take a piece of Tehillim. Okay, let's paint the picture again. Let's imagine right now a person saw something or heard something in the world, and they want to understand what was the instruction from God for me in this moment. Why did I see this thing? Why did I hear this thing? And what is it coming to teach me in my connection to God? The Baal Shem Tov says the number one way to clarify what it is that you're meant to understand from what you saw and you heard is 1, take the book of Tehillim, of Psalms, and read 1 chapter with all of your heart. Read it as most passionate as you can. Just take 1 Tehillim out of the 150 and read it with all of your heart. 2, do something good for another Jew by way of the effort of your body. Meaning, not only your money, don't just pay for another Jew to get something done. Work for it, to do something physical, drive, walk, lift, something physical to help another Jew. And also by loving every single Jew with Mesirut Nefesh. The Baal Shem Tov saw this revelation of Nishmat Adam Tilamedenu, the soul of man will teach us, by way of you saying Tehillim, that is more powerful than a Talmid Chacham that's bringing Chidushim and Pilpulim in Torah. The Talmid Chacham that we know learning Torah is above all, him going back and forth to try to understand the Torah and asking all these different questions, you reading Tehillim with all of your heart, 1 Tehillim is more powerful than that. And the Baal Shem Tov says that in this Perik Tehillim, this 1 Tehillim with all of your heart, you can get all of that. And doing good for another Jew, spiritually or physically, with working on it, and loving every other Jew, these are the true keys that nothing could ever prevent them from opening up all of the chambers of mercy, the gates and the doors of healing and salvation and parnasa and sustenance for every single Jew. So when you see things in life and you want to understand it a little bit deeper, take 1 verse of Tehillim, say it with all of your might, okay? Try to do something physical with your body for another Jew that took you some effort, not just with money. And 3, love every Jew with self-sacrifice, with the level of, I'm putting myself on the side, I need to help everybody else. When you do that, you'll be able to understand more of the messages that are coming down to you from the heavens. Another amazing teaching here. This is from the Teret David Sukkot. He says he heard from Rav David Itzhak Isaac Miskale, Zecher Tzadik Kadosh Livracha, that once he was by the Baal Shem Tov, and he saw how this Rebbe is teaching the children to say the prayers, to go through the Siddur. And he said, when there's two Yudin together, when there's two Yuds together, the letter Yud, when you have two of them together, you have to say Ado, right? It's Hashem's name. Yud is Hashem's name. So there's one kid in the class, and it's his turn to read out loud. And he's reading, and he starts the pasuk, and he says it, and when he gets to the end of the pasuk, there's the two dots that sign the end of the verse, right? And he said Hashem's name. Because the Rebbe said, whenever you see two Yuds together, you need to read it Hashem's name. Obviously there he meant side by side, not what we call a semicolon, right? So this kid said the name of Hashem, and his Rebbe said, you didn't do it right. Why? When you have two Yuds, meaning two Yuds, the letter Yud is also Yid, a Jew. When you have two Jews side by side, that is Hashem's name. But when you have one Yud that goes on top of the other, like a colon, right? One wants to put himself higher than the other friend, that's not the name of Hashem. Two Yud side by side, Hashem. One Jew trying to be on top of the other, one Yid on top of another, that's not Hashem's name. V'lamad Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh Musar Gadol. Baal Shem Tov taught a big lesson by way of this. When two Jews are together, side by side, they're unified, they're equal, they're sitting together, Hashem dwells in a place of unity. Hashem likes unity. You and your friend are sitting together, they're working together, everything's okay. Hashem loves that. But God forbid, when you put one Yud on top of the other, when you put one Jew on the other, that one Jew sees himself higher as the other Jew, Hashem doesn't want to be in that place. Hashem does not put his Shechina in a place like that. And we have to understand this. We have to understand this. The more we can get to equilibrium and equality and seeing everybody as one in the yichud of Hashem, we'll be able to get to this on a much deeper level. It's known that the Baal Shem Tov's name is Rabbi Yisrael. There was another Rabbi Yisrael that was also known for his Ahavat Yisrael and his tefillah, and that's Rabbi Yisrael Abuhatzeira, the Baba Sali. The Baba Sali was in Tzfat once, many times, but one time he came to Tzfat and he was sitting in Abu Av, our famous synagogue here in Tzfat, and he's sitting there, and they finished the tefillah, and the way was that he was going to now go around and raise money, sit with the respectable people of Tzfat, do his rounds in the city. And he was sitting next to this one man here in Tzfat who happened to be a street sweeper. And after a while, he's not getting up, and the gabbais are coming for the Rav, Rabbi Yisrael. We have meetings, we have people waiting for us, the rich people of the town, the respected people of the town, the rabbis of the town. And the Baba Sali brushed them off, leave me alone, I'm sitting with this guy. After a while, Baba Sali gets up and he leaves Abu Av and he starts to do his rounds with his secretaries, with his gabbais. And they ask him, Arav, we have to understand, the people of the town told us that man, he just sweeps the streets of Tzfat, he's a street sweeper. What was so important that you, one of the biggest Tzadikim in the world, were sitting with him for so long? He says, I don't know what you guys see here in this world, street sweeper or not, I don't know. Every night when I go to the heavens to judge the generation, he sits with me as a Dayan. He's one of the judges with me. In this world, he sweeps streets. Who knows to say what a Jew is in this world? We have no idea. We can see big people in the world that appear to be tzadikim, and they could be very wicked people. And people that appear to be wicked, they might be really holy. And then people that are in the middle that we have no idea where they are. We have no business judging anybody or where they are, what they're worthy of, what they're deserving of. We have to love everybody. And we have to know that the only way to do that really is knowing that the spark of Hashem is inside of everybody. And we're all equal. And if my spark that I got from Hashem wants to hang out with your spark that you got from Hashem together equally, because we're both creations of Hashem, so then Hashem comes and dwells amongst us. But if I see my spark of Hashem is higher than your spark of Hashem, like a colon, one on top of the other, there's no unity there. There's no equality there. Hashem doesn't want to be in a place like that. It's not Hashem. We'll learn from this.